Back to the Southern Motorworks channel. Never mind me getting my little buddy heater going here. It's a little brisk out here on the panhandle this evening. There we go. That ought to help out. So, if any of y'all have been following along with the channel, you'll know that we've been out here working on a custom bumper brush guard deer collision protection for the front of the old XC70 here for the last few weeks. In light of that, and we didn't have any video ready for this week because we've just been out here hammering on this stuff and just life in general going on. So we decided we'd just bring y'all out here at the garage and do a short for y'all, or do a live video for y'all today. Let y'all come out here and join us in the garage while we work on the old Volvo over here. So, like I said, right now what we're working on is this kind of custom bumper stuff. I don't want to reveal too much of it there, right? But it's going to be pretty substantial on the front of a Volvo wagon. All right, I'm trying to protect it from future deer collisions. If y'all keep up with the channel, we got a deer whacked the passenger side of it a few weeks back, and we had to kind of stitch that back together and purchase this new headlight, and the hood still dented up from it, the fenders dented up from it. So we're just trying to protect it from any future sort of damage and whatnot like that. So the best thing we can do is put a big old beefy bull bar on the front of it, so that way the next one hits damages the deer and not the vehicle. So we've got a bunch of stuff. We've got it all tack welded into place. We just got to take the bumper off and finish welding it. But today what we're working on, everything's kind of taken a little bit longer because it's been so chilly out here and whatnot. It's kind of hard to get, any sort of putties and paints and stuff like that to dry up. So the bumper, we've had to cut it up into a bunch of different pieces and install like custom fasteners and stuff like that to piece this bumper back together around the custom bull bar, because what I didn't want was the whole thing to be just sticking off the front of the car like 4 feet, like one of those Euro spec bumpers from like like the old 80s Euro cars or 70s that they had a nice tucked bumper up over in Europe. Then when we get it over here, it sticks out 3 feet in front of the car. It just looks stupid. I don't like it. We got to get rid of that on the old Volvo wagon, or the old Volvo 164 we got out there. So we're just trying to avoid that on this one. So as you can see, everything's nice and tucked up in there. And there's going to be a full video of this coming, hopefully this coming posting. So not next week, but the week after that. We post videos every 2 weeks. So this will be a full-length video on us doing this start to finish. But today what we're working on, like I said, because everything's taken a little bit longer, we've had to cut. This goes up under the headlight, like up under there. And so what we're going to be doing today, we hit it last night with spot putty. We had a plastic weld a piece back on there. I don't know if y'all can really tell there. We did a pretty good job on it, but so we had to hit it with some spot putty to clean everything up. So now we're just going to be sanding on this spot putty, start trying to reinstall it on the bumper here and see if it's going to work. But we also need to paint these. If you'll notice on the front here, the grill, it's very dark, and that is because we used underbody coating, or no, underbody? Yeah, the underbody coating from Rust-Oleum. We hit that on there. So it's kind of rubbery. It's got a little flex to it, so that should help out quite a bit. Hey, what's going on, y'all? If you just joining the chat, welcome. So, like I said, we're just going to be hitting this with some sandpaper. What we've been using to hit the spot putty with, we're hitting it with a 80 grit to start out with. Let me move my little heater so I'm not. Oh, it went out on me. It's crazy how quickly you get reacclimated to being down south after being up north, and dealing with all the crazy cold up there and stuff, and then you get down here and it's 20 degrees outside and you're freezing, you know what I mean? But anyway, so like I said, so we're just going to be hitting this with a little sand. That's what it's going to be looking like. You can see how rough it is to start out with, right? Just filling in those gaps. So basically all you're doing with this spot putty, because the plastic welding that we did on it, it can be a little rough on it. You know, it's hard to get it perfectly smooth with the plastic welding. So you need to use like a spot putty or like a fiberglass filler or something like that afterwards to kind of really smooth it out and whatnot. You know what I mean? So you can see stuff works pretty quick. Already starting to get her pretty well smoothed out there. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the live stream. And this isn't going to be perfect. This bumper's been cut up. It was all damaged from the deer collision. We're not worried about getting this, you know, it's not going to be pristine. We're just trying to make it a little better than what it was. And actually, whilst I keep going on this here, I'm going to put on a little, as soon as I can find it here. Oh, where did I set it down? Here we go. We're going to put on a little breathing protection here. Hopefully y'all can still hear me decently. We are working on custom bumper for our Volvo XC70 here. Had to cut the factory bumper up to make room for this new brush guard that we're building. So we are smoothing it out. Spot putty on our plastic pieces, and then we'll be able to hit this with underbody coating, really make it look somewhat more decent. Just using the 80 grit sandpaper here. You got to kind of be a little careful because it doesn't take too long with this 80 grit to take up takes a lot of material off quickly. So kind of be aware of that. Well, let's see how that looks. All right, there we go. As y'all can see, it's a heck of a lot smoother already. Just a couple minutes with the old 80 grit there. A couple little spots, but we're not really worried about that. Again, ain't gonna be perfect, you know. So now we're going to move on to some 220 grit. And you want to do this in kind of a crisscross pattern versus, you know, if you're going up and down with the previous sandpaper, go side to side with the next one. All right. Then we're going to jump all the way up to 1000 grit, really smooth it out. Hey, welcome to the chat. All right. All right, so now we'll spray a little bit of brake parts cleaner on our rag here and just wipe it off real good. Oh, that one's empty. That one got, yeah. I'll just wipe it off real good. Because the next thing that we're going to be doing after we do the other side real quick is hitting these with the underbody coating, rubberized underbody coating. That's going to be super quick, just a few minutes. We've been doing this like 10 minutes on this live chat, or on this live video rather, and it's pretty darn smooth. It's not perfect, you know, there's going to be some ripples in it and stuff, but it's an old plastic bumper that's been beat up by a deer and, you know, cut up into pieces and stuff, so it is what it is. But that's going to be just good enough. Now the other side, a little bit worse. This is the side here that was on the passenger side here where the deer hit it. You can see on the back side here it has been, there's a crack there, plastic welded back together, you know, big crack there, plastic welded back together. Yeah, this thing has it's been pieced back together quite a bit. You can see kind of the little indentations from the plastic weld there, which, I mean, it works. I mean, it, you know, we've had these pieces on the vehicle and they were installed and ran down the road at 60 mile an hour, you know, 70 mile an hour, so no problems there. Plenty strong enough to be on the vehicle. All right, so we're just going to do the same thing now. Get this stuff sanded down, ready to paint it. Coming along pretty good there. Starting to smooth out compared to that sort of stuff, you know. What was that? That's the idea. This is next time the deer won't get away. Strapped down on top coming home. That's right. It'll cost it dearly next time. Could have at least got a couple deer steaks out of it, you know. Goodness gracious. All right. I think that's good enough with the 80 grit. Not too shabby. All right, now, see where we're at. Yeah, there we go. Now, like I said, this side is significantly worse than the other one. So you can tell we're going to have some ripples in it in there. But for the most part, it's going to be a lot better than what it started out like. I'll show you all the bumper here in a minute, because we haven't done that part yet, the lower half of the bumper, so I can show you all what it looks like before we did the spot putting and sanding. All right. It'll be for the 220 grit. Now we'll hit it with the 1000 grit here, just to smooth things out. All right. Now, same thing as before. Spray some brake parts cleaner on a rag here. Get this part cleaned off real good. Have y'all heard that anybody in the automotive industry here, they passed a law in Canada to where you can't have, it has like a low Vox freaking brake parts cleaner, so it's like it doesn't work as well or something. It's supposed to be less toxic, but doesn't do the job as well. Can't imagine not having brake parts cleaner to clean stuff with. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that here stateside. All right, so there you go. So you can see it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some ripples and imperfections on it. Big one right in there. I just synced. Yeah. But it is what it is. It's going to be a lot better than what it was. Ain't going to be perfect, but just how she goes. So now we've got this done. We can go ahead and take these over there and start hitting them with the underbody coating. Hopefully it'll dry. It's pretty chilly right now here in Florida. We're up here in the Panhandle, not far from Alabama, and it is supposed to be down, I think, possibly in the teens today. Possibly even calling for a dust and a snow in a few days here on Sunday. We'll see if that happens. But anyways, let me get my camera all situated here, moved across the room, so y'all can watch me do the paint work here. We're just going to be doing it right here on the ground like this. Should be perfectly fine. Hopefully. Like I said, if it doesn't dry, then we may have to take it on in the house and get it to dry out in there, I reckon. All right, can y'all see there what we're doing? All right, and we're just going to be using the old Rust-Oleum underbody coating here. The stuff works great. It's a nice rubbery thing. If you paint it, you know you got to worry about it for one, bonding to the plastic. Sometimes it doesn't want to bond to the plastic. And then you also got to worry about when that plastic piece flexes a little bit, the paint splitting and chipping and everything. This, you don't really have to worry about that as much. So, might have to grab another can tomorrow. This thing's about empty. Make sure you stir this stuff up real good because it's thick. So if you don't shake it up real good, it won't really like to come out 100% mixed, that's for sure. All right, should be well enough. So see if we can make this look halfway decent. I should have left the respirator on. Yeah, it's about empty. Yep, that one is empty. Goodness. Got another can over here. Hopefully there's enough in this one to get this done. And again, just the regular old Rust-Oleum underbody coating. Got it almost done with a little bit had left in that can, but trying to get every bit you can out of them, you know what I mean? We've got like 11 viewers. Thank y'all for hanging out with us here on this Thursday night. This is kind of a glimpse into how it usually goes here at Southern Motorwerks. Work the day job, come home, keep on doing more work till it's dinner time. But if y'all got some worn out plastic parts on your vehicles, this stuff works pretty good. A little bit of spot putty to even things out, and sand it pretty good. Then you can hit it with some stuff like this. Makes it look quite a bit better. You don't want to put the stuff on there super thick, because it'll kind of gum up. But you can put a decent coating on there for sure. All right. All right, there you go. That's all it needs. Let me get y'all in there a little closer so you can see this stuff a little better. So it comes out pretty darn good. I dig it. It's got a nice look to it. Here, I'll show you all the grill real quick that we've already done. Get my tripod shrunk down here. So this is the grill that we've already done there in the black. You can see there was a lot of construction and plastic welding on there to make this thing fit with this custom bar. But I think it turned out pretty darn good there. About lit my arm on fire with the little buddy heater. But what I was talking about earlier, this here, that's your bumper, or what it looks like after you use a plastic welder. So it's got hot staples holding it together, and then we used a regular plastic welder to, you know, kind of smooth things out as best we could. Never mind our horrible welds. Little welder just struggling. We're going to fix that when we take this off there to finish weld it. It's all just tack welded into place. So once we get that off there, we'll grind those horrible welds off and do it once we get it off and can get to it. Everything's just kind of held into place right now because we were cutting and measuring and figuring things out. So, but anyways, yeah, that's sort of what it looks like. It's pretty rough. We'll probably eventually, I don't know if we'll do it right now with this project, but eventually we will take all of the plastic bumpers off and paint them dark color, because I think it'll just look way better. But yeah, so next task that we got is to take the lower bumper cover off completely. We've got it with a bunch of custom mounts and self tappers and everything holding it in there, because as y'all can see, the let me just flip the camera here. as y'all can see, all of the support that normally holds this bumper cover in place is gone. That all got shattered when the deer impacted it, so that's all completely gone. So it's had self-tappers and everything else holding it in there. And yeah, so a bunch of self-tappers. Man, those welds look horrible now that I'm looking at them. We'll do better, I promise. It'll be in the full-length video whenever we post that. Y'all can watch that happen. Yeah, so I think that's going to do it for now. We got to let those set up and dry. Then tomorrow we can take the whole bumper cover off, sand it, hit it with spot putty where it needs it, which should just be just that one spot down there where it's been plastic welded back together. Everything else should be fine. But we got to get that off there, get that sanded down, and get it spot puttied and painted. And then we got to take the bumper off and get it finish welded and sanded and painted and everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it's going to go. But for tonight, I think that's going to do it. We're just going to let those pieces set over there. That old motorcycle over there. We're going to let those pieces set over there and dry up overnight. It's probably going to take most of the night because it's chilly, it's cold. It's like it's supposed to be down in the 20s tonight, I think, so that stuff ain't going to want to, that underbody coating that we sprayed on it ain't going to want to, you know, cure up anytime quickly. But yeah, so like I said, that's going to do it for this live stream, I reckon. We got those pieces ready to go. As soon as those cure up, they'll be ready to go back on tomorrow, and we can move on with the bottom bumper. But everything full start to finish build is going to be in a not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that, it'll be in a full-length video that we'll post about the old wagon over here. I'm excited to get it out and drive it. I'm sure the battery's dead. It's been sitting here for like 3 weeks. Excited to get this thing back on the road here too. Goodness gracious. Look at that there. Anybody else old Yamaha fans, you know? We'll show you all here the old 82 650 Seika, old Yami. The custom pod filters. It had a custom exhaust on it. I took that off when we moved to Maine because I was going to get this thing registered and inspected, and you can't have aftermarket stuff like that. So, but as you can see, she's been setting up a while. It's got a pinhole in the fuel tank from setting, stuck a screw in there to hold it shut, but she's got cobwebs all, oversized brakes on the front, custom gauge cluster and everything on there. Not too darn shabby. She was a quick little bike whenever I had her going. We'll go to get it going again. That's definitely obviously for the summertime. It's a little too chilly to ride a motorcycle out there right now. But yeah, eventually, can't wait. But anyway, like I said, that's gonna do it for this live today. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me here while we're doing a little bit of work. Before dinner, after the day job, before dinner, whatever you want to call it. While we're doing a little bit of work, appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and look forward to the full video of the bumper build on the XC70 here. That'll be coming not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. So if y'all enjoy this sort of content, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep y'all up to date with this and the old Swedish Gentleman and German Tow and the C230 and the E12 Beamer and all that stuff like that. So plenty more projects come. Should have some new stuff coming fairly soon, within the next couple months here. We should have some new projects coming to the channel and whatnot. One of them's going to be pretty darn ambitious, so y'all make sure you keep an eye out for that one. But appreciate y'all hanging out. We'll catch y'all on the next night. Y'all have a good Thursday night.